Hello, heathens.
Hello, Heathens.
The heathens.
The Heathens.
The way that the word heathens has become a very big part of my vocabulary. Because, people say, ask me a question, I give them an answer, and I'm like, well, I'm a heathen. What do you want from me?
Absolutely. That's what I go to is Heathen.
Heathen.
You you knew what you signed up for.
Yeah. If you don't know, I'm going to tell you.
I don't know why you think this is going to go any differently.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, hello.
That's on you.
Yeah. You didn't read the fine print. Well, it's bold print, but hey,
It's a heathen. It's all the print.
you didn't read any of the print. Okay. So last week we told you guys that we didn't know what we were going to do this week because we had something on the docket for this week that was this basically the same as what we just talked about at Egregores. So we changed it. Nicole had a awesome idea, which I don't know why we didn't think about this sooner, but what are we talking about today, Nicole?
We are talking about taking action.
Yes, because she brought up a really good point that we give you all this stuff to do and we say, oh, if you try this, you'll get this, blah, blah, blah. But we don't tell you how to do it or how to make it happen in your life or give you tips or tricks on how to do things and actually get them done. And so this was a
Well, because
great
it's just
idea.
it's for my own therapy, really, because like this is what I struggle with all the time.
Yeah,
Like
same.
I'm really good business owner and I'm a really good hairdresser, and I take perfect action, most of the time, 95% of the time. Um, I got my ducks in the order, I got this, I got that, but when I come home is where I really start to lose all of it.
Mm-hmm.
The weeds get out of control, the floor is dusty, and I'm like, "Ugh,
Laundry, clean laundry, sitting on my bedroom floor for 2 weeks,
absolutely, absolutely. It's clean,
but I'm picking out of a pile on the floor.
which is really hard when you have all black clothes, let me say.
Yeah,
I can't find shit.
I go through that too because
You're
I
like,
like my closet's not fully black, but it's mostly black, and I do the same thing. I'm like, oh, this is it. Oh, no. And then I just got to keep shoveling, and then everything's wrinkly, and I'm like, you know what? Whatever. It is what it is. But then I'm like annoyed by it too at the same time. I'm like, ah, you're fine. And then I'm like, fuck, I really need to get these off the floor. And then I don't.
right.
It's annoying. I
It's
annoy myself.
annoying. I annoy myself
Yep.
very much so. Absolutely. Oh, fuck.
I know.
So we in the magic group, I always I have a hard time saying this really. It's magma sopus. Magma sopus. The great work is what it is. We have graduated from elementary to junior high, and now we are in the planets. And I'm telling you what, this is shit's fucking me up. I have not only more the person I used to be and realized that uh that I changed and that's why I no longer fit in those circles. And I was mourning the fact uh that I have changed enough to see the separate person of me and that she is dying and she is, I can see it like clearly, which is a lot to like put on. And then uh we have to we have went from little groups into one big group. So there's like 35 of us, I think, give or take a couple of people.
Whoa.
And uh so we're not getting this one-on-one personal uh hand holding.
Hmm.
Before we would go into the meeting, we would say what we've learned or what we experienced or um and it's funny because by the end of it, it did start feeling off. It felt more ego-y than it was like because I just felt like, well, if I'm supposed to be doing magic and this is a individual thing, uh, all the questions I have, I look up because I do that. That's the work that I have to do, right? So then I don't really have any questions for the teachers or the instructors because I should be looking them up myself. So anything that I was saying was more from, it felt more from an ego stance of almost like, look what I did. And
Hmm.
see, I got this. And, like it didn't feel authentic. But you were like, this is because I'm a people pleaser. So of course, this is what they wanted us. This is how I thought they wanted us to act.
Yes.
And it's like the couple of meetings, you're like, look, I don't feel good. I really don't have anything to say. Like, I don't. So I'm actually kind of happy that they've moved into a different formula because we don't have to do all that. I have to make my own ritual and perform it with the moon. We're in the moon right now, which is subconscious, which makes sense now, like what we were talking about earlier,
Yeah,
right?
yes. I just got that too. I was like, ding.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. And tried to set myself up for success. So I was motivated because I have to study and put together a ritual, and I want it to be very good. And I want to make sure I gather all my tools and put it into a very beautiful thing. But I'm like, I can't do that with my living room a mess.
Hmm.
I can't do that if I know that there's weeds outside that I have to take
And
care of and be responsible and tend to my garden, right?
yeah.
And also, the other thing was the attic. I just came across a whole article, and the attic was talking about that's what our inner thoughts look like. And if girls, guys, whatever, you see my attic, we'd be like, this is your thoughts.
This is the way
And
your
I would
thoughts
be
go.
like, yes, yes, it is. There's some garbage in there. None of it's organized. I got the memories in the back because there's like wedding stuff, and like
Mhm,
pictures of when we were younger and blah, blah, blah.
mhm.
And then we have Christmas stuff over here that needs to be thrown. Some of it needs to be thrown away. Like, and then there's just random shit. You can tell where we gave up on the whole thing. And you pop your head up in the attic and you just throw it in somewhere. And I'm like, oh. So, taking action. It was funny because I wanted to do such a great job for myself. Not for nobody's going to see it. I want to do such a great job, a noble job for the moon because I love her so much. But to do that, I had to do all of this. So I wasn't thinking about the stuff and beating up on myself about what I needed to do, what I need to take action on, what I'm responsible for, all that stuff. So it's helped pretty good. Now I studied a little bit, and it has helped because I did sit down and study for a good 4 hours. And I just come over here like if I got periodical times and stuff. So it has helped.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 hours straight of consistent studying is really good for just about anybody that, I don't know, I feel like lives life in the 3D.
It's hard because it was like I would get distracted. I'd be like, oh, I have to pee. Oh, I have to get water. Oh, I have to. Do you know what I mean? Like every time I sat down for a period of time and I was noticing it, we're
Hmm.
self-aware, like, and I'm not necessarily resisting it, but also like, do we really need that?
Right,
But why am I distracting myself?
right.
So it's kind of cool to have something that you love completely, but you want to make everything else. So it's like you want to make the soil right before you plant the seed into it because you're like, hold on, this is a special seed.
Well, yeah, and you can't plant seeds in like weeds.
Right.
There's
Because
no
it will
room to
take up
grow.
there's no room. They're not going to get the nutrients they need.
Nope.
They're going to get lost in the chaos.
And then you're like, why aren't my seeds growing? Well,
Right.
you didn't give it any room to grow.
Which I am still mad that weeds grow faster than the plants I actually fucking buy. Can we talk about that for just a second?
Yeah, it is
Mad.
fucking the only plant I have growing right now, because I have like 5 or 6 or 7 of them out there. The only one that's growing so fucking well and grows like a weed is dill. I find dill because we let it seed last year. I'm be finding these little dill ones where I'm like, no, it's too much. Having a little bushel like this is so much dill. I'm like, I don't need any more. Stop growing everywhere else. I need you to stop it. And the dill's like, no, we will be here. You will have all the dill.
We love
We
it.
love it here. And I'm like, okay, I get it, but can you guys just condense? Mm.
No, yeah.
No, yeah, I've been trying really hard to stay up on my weeding because I feel like after doing our podcast for like a year and a half and like I've realized just how important it feels and how like therapeutic it is to grow your own garden.
Mm.
It feels so good and I'm like, I don't know why I equate it to my life, but I'm like, if I can take care of these plants, get these plants abundance, then like my life's good.
That's really actually um profound because it's true.
Is
We
it
were just
really?
talking, it is because like if you um in alchemy they say that your laboratory never lies.
Hmm.
So if we realize this, then the little things that happen in your house or in your environment is all about you.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about this with Rob last night because he broke this window,
Oh, that's not like a cover. Like, what are those called? Like for dressing?
the
Yeah, the
screen.
screen. Yeah.
No, I mean I do want to be a funnies flapper, I guess. Um, uh, I don't know why I equate that with 20s, but anyway, that's second. But he has his windshields on both of his cars that he uses are also cracked.
Huh.
And I literally, because we've been talking about this whole thing about alchemy and all that kind of stuff, I was like, interesting. You have that glass cracked, and that glass cracked. So now I'm trying to figure out what, like what does that mean?
Ugh. First thing that comes to mind is that windows are the eyes of your house.
Hmm.
Because remember when we talked about, oh, what was it? Long time ago now, it feels like, even though it was last year, was DIY house cleansings. We were talking
Hmm.
about how like your floors are your skin and your eyes are your windows. Wonder if it has something
Yes,
to do with his vision of something or the way he views something.
that could very well be because, even the windshields are the front part of it,
Where your eyes
you
go.
know, right? And like the fact that we can't see out this window,
Right.
it's
It's
almost like blocking part of the vision.
it's so funny when you um start paying attention, like you were saying, with things around your house. Like you could just see what it is. You know what it is. Like I always can tell the way I'm feeling, even though I can't tell the way I'm feeling because I like to hide that part of myself because we love to hate ourselves, sabotage ourselves.
Yes,
But I
yes.
could always tell how I'm subconsciously feeling or the things I don't want to look at by my house. The laundry is a good example of like every time that I'm feeling a little depressy, messy, laundry sits on the floor of my bedroom. And I'm always like, I see it and I look at it and I'm like, I don't want to deal with that yet. That's why it's been there for 2 weeks. Because every time I'm like, "Ugh, I should clean this." And I'm like, "Ugh, I have so many other things I could do instead of doing that. I don't want to deal with it." And I'm like, oh, I
Hmm.
know exactly what that is. I know exactly what it is. I can feel it now. Like it's like a visual representation that's like, oh, you need to deal with that, buddy, because you got that going on. And then what you
Right,
keep not acknowledging it, you keep not feeling it and trying to move through it and like acknowledging it, and you're not doing that, and it's gonna stay. And it's
right.
gonna grow because guess what? The laundry pile has grown.
It does. It either grows or my house, if it's clean laundry, it ends up being dirty. If the cat
Oh,
slept in it because it's too long, or the baby has come in and looked for something, so it was like this.
Mine is clean
I'm always
laundry
like,
pile, dirty laundry pile. Because I have baskets, but why would I use that when I could just add to the depressing mess?
absolutely. That's how we do this.
Yeah, well, garden's great. Bedroom, don't look in there.
Don't look in
We're
there.
not looking in there. It's like funny, but you gotta take some of these things I heard because I do know about it, but it's funny because when you start pay attention to these things, you'll start noticing like things that you're not paying attention to within yourself, right?
Yeah, they always correlate with something. But that's what's the great thing is like, okay, so now we know what we have to do, right? So how do we get past that threshold of non-motivated to motivated, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the tough part is like, and there's a bunch of tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff, but like, and you can find out what's best for you. Some people do like little bits at the time, like not the whole thing, just a little bit. Like you pick up that one sock because you passed it 17 times today.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can choose to leave it there and just choose that for now instead of like ignoring it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I see you, but I'm choosing to leave you there. I brought back my power just a little bit, right?
Mm,
Because I'm choosing to leave it there.
I like that.
Um, and then the nice thing is what we're doing is we're really working our way up to actually picking it up, right? Because the resistance is picking it up. And we know what we resist persists. So you it's like allowance, it's like a slow allowance or a slow buildup to actually being like, I'm gonna fucking pick you up now.
Yeah, like let's go, baby. We
Right.
get the fuck up on the bed. We're fooling you all. You're going. You're getting put away.
Yeah, because once we get
Exactly.
into that mode, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
and I think we should realize that a lot of our lives are awake. Like we're not going to be like this. And I think we all fucking think that we're gonna be just like this.
Oh,
Like
100%.
all the movies of high successful people that we've been
Yes.
trained to watch, like those ones are all these people that are like, "Eh," like I don't know people like that. And I don't think I am that person, right? Like I know I'm a more creative person, so I have to look for creative ways that make it doable.
100%. It's like I can't be somebody who's just like good example for me with that is I can't be somebody who's in my bedroom with nothing on, nothing going on, and I'm just folding silent in silence and putting
Oh
clothes
no.
away in silence.
Uh-uh.
Like I gotta have music going or a movie or something that I can like. It's like, okay. It's almost like I say this a lot. I challenge myself. That's how I get myself motivated. Is like, okay, dude,
Hmm.
this is a 20 minute, this is a 20-minute episode. We're gonna see what we can get done in 20 minutes. And then it's like, okay, another one. Can we get it done in that? And it's like if I don't, I gotta like challenge myself, make it a game for
I
myself.
like that. That's a good one.
Because if I do that, then I'm like real motivated.
Right. Well, and I think, that's a really good one because music is great. It changes your mood real quick. Like a show, I do a show all the time. Although sometimes I get into I get lost in previews. You do this?
I do do that. I do
I
do.
do do. I
I
do
do do.
do.
Because we'll be
Like,
looking for a horror film and I'll just be watching trailers nonstop till I'm like, oh, what was the one that I liked? And then I have to go back.
well, that's the thing is then the amount of time that I could have watched the fucking movie, I've watched 17,000 trailers and still didn't pick shit. Like, okay, then.
Especially on Netflix. I think Netflix is the worst for me with that because the minute you stop your cursor or whatever on a show, the trailer pops up and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll watch that.
Right. Gotta watch this one now.
It's almost
So then
like
I'll go
doom
really
scrolling.
fast.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
does
me
end up
too.
being like doom scrolling because like
Yes.
I don't want to see a trailer.
You're subconsciously sabotaging yourself because you're yeah, you're just like if you can't read fast, you're done. Just get off Netflix, go somewhere else because it's not going to be helpful.
Somebody yesterday told me, he's like, that's why I have a watch list. I'm like, oh, that's fair.
That's fair. Mm-hmm. Oh, so okay. I feel like in talking about taking action today too, I thought about habits and I was like, cool, that's what I'm gonna bring to the table today because there was this hair class we took, God, years ago now. Um, and I think it was Joe Blackwell. That class just really
Hmm.
helped so much because she said a lot of things that were like so direct and so real that I was like, okay, this is the kind of hair class I like. And I remember her talking about habits when it comes to hair too, and like how you treat your clients and like how, it takes 30 days or something to form a habit. And so then I was thinking about that today where I was like, I talk about this often with Nicole, where it's like, I need to get into this habit, or I'll be like, I need to get into this. I need to start doing it. I need it. And I say it, but I don't do it because I didn't realize there's easy ways to do it like I did today. And I guess I just didn't really think about how habits really affect us. So, like, a habit is like a regular tendency or practice that you do, and it can be hard to give up. So, like, a big habit of mine, also, I choose this. I'm just kidding. Is vaping. It's a habit. It's the feeling of the, pulling something in, pushing it out. The habit, I call it my binky now because I'm starting to make it a funny thing in my head so that eventually, like if I don't want it, I don't have to have it. But it's just the habit. I can
Hmm.
go without it. It's not necessarily now, am I addicted to nicotine? Probably. And am I okay with that right now? Yes, absolutely. But it's more, I notice the habit of something. Like I know in people that have been smoking for a long time, it's the habit of this. And so they
Hmm.
have to have something that their hand fidgets like their mouth fidgets like the candy. I know I've heard people say, well, just put a pop of candy in when you want a cigarette. And I think right now for me, it's the feel of like pulling something into my lungs, like down my
Hmm.
throat. I like that feeling. And so it's like I've been trying to make it a funny thing, but it's habits you don't even think about. So they're like habits are routines that we get into in the morning. Like
Hmm.
when it comes to podcast days, I wake up, I get coffee, I go and I do research for an hour. If I need a little more than an hour, I have an hour to an hour and a half. It's set time for myself. What I do every morning on Thursdays, I think the cats have the routine now too, because they'll come sit with me on the couch like they're waiting.
Hmm.
I open the door, I put on some incense and I turn on cat TV for them. So it's like bird watching videos and stuff.
That's awesome.
Listen to the birds while I'm doing recording. So or while I'm like doing my research, getting everything ready for myself so it's nice and fresh. And then I go and do my makeup. I get my stuff set up. And then if I have time, I will chill out for like a half hour or whatever I have and just relax for a little bit before I like, scurry to like wherever my computer is, get everything set up, pee really quick, and then meet Nicole. These are habits that I've formed that are so routine for me that I don't even think about them. That's exactly what I do. The same
Hmm.
alarm clock, I get up at the same time every Thursday. Doesn't matter how tired I am out of bed by 8. And I'm
Hmm.
out even earlier than for work. And then same thing with work. It's just these regular basis things that we do. Now, what I was telling Nicole earlier before we started the podcast, the hard part for me is my days off. Routine goes out the window. She ran away. She is across the
Hi.
planet. She's in another solar system. She said, see you later, sis.
Send me a postcard.
Yeah. Now, the nice thing about these habits or these routines that we're creating is that because they're so routine, you don't need motivation to do it. It's almost like what they were calling it is it's in the neutral. I think I was trying
Neutral.
to put neutral and ether together, and I don't know why, but it's a
Neutral.
neutral.
We
They're
like
in
it.
a neutral pathway in your brain, which means it's not necessarily subconscious or conscious. It's right in between. You're conscious of what you need to do, but your subconscious knows you need to do it too. So it's like another great example is driving to work. You do the same route every time. You know exactly when your blinker needs to go on. You know exactly what exit you need to go on. Now, if I asked you which exit you get off at, probably wouldn't know the number.
Then 75.
Oh, okay, well, she's Capricorn. Of course, she would know that. But like, I'm like, I don't know the exit, but I know where it
Where it
is.
is, yeah.
And I think it's the Jackson, maybe. It's the one after, this is what I would say. It's the one after Ann Arbor's Lane. Whatever that one is, and I go through downtown and get off at Fourth, I don't
That's
know the
Jackson,
road
yeah.
names.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
But I don't know what number that
Have no idea. I know it's a one. It's going to be a one.
and a
Starts with
7.
that. And a seven. It's going to be a one, seven, something.
I think it's 173.
See, there you go. But it's like it takes all this thinking, habits and routines. It's in the neutral pathway where I'm like, I don't have to think about it. Technically, I could drive there and be completely lost in thought and still get there.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's what we want to do. We want something similar. We want those habits to be created for us within like the things that we've talked about. So another good example I was thinking about when I was looking at these, something that's become such a habit for me has been the four agreements because I've really, really tried to imply them and think about them so often that now it pops up like that. And now does
Hmm.
that always happen? No, but it has become a habit to where like
Hmm.
if I hear something, I get a reaction, I'm like, you're taking that personally. Don't
Right. It
assume.
pops in.
Yep.
Like it's a little sign that's like, hey,
It's like the crosswalk.
which is nice because like all the tools that we've been talking about and trying to implement in, we can actually see the progress that we've made because we now it's now um playing well with others,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Like
like
it's here to help.
it's almost like default.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like as soon as you see it, feel it, then it's like,
Yep. It's
mhm.
just like, boop, hi. Don't take things personal. Be impeccable with your word. You're not being impeccable with your hey, you're not being impeccable with your word. Hey. And
Hey,
I'm like, I know.
sorry, I will. Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
I don't take it
Be,
back, but I take it
you know,
back.
it's funny because I feel like being impeccable with your words is one of the ones that we're like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yep.
totally easy. I can do
Uh-huh.
that. I'm
Yep.
always impeccable with my word. And then you're like, should
But
I
then
just
that
say
little
something
fucking
back?
stop crossway lady in your head pops up and says, you're not being impeccable with your words. Stop it. Stop there. Stop
Stop.
there. And I'm like, oh
No,
my God.
danger, danger. Don't
Like,
do it.
catch myself. And I'm like, all right, now we know for next time, buddy. We're not going to do that. But like, this has become such a default thing that it's nice. It's a good default thing for me. I feel great when it happens and like I catch myself doing something that I'm not being impeccable with my word or I'm not doing my best or like I am taking something personal or assuming. It's like it's become so ingrained in there that like now it's like I even pause to think about what I want to say to somebody before I say it to them so that like
Yeah.
I am being impeccable with my word. I'm not just like reacting or giving something that I don't I shouldn't be giving. You know what I mean? I shouldn't.
Hmm.
Well, I'm not going to tell you all about yourself because what's that going to do? I get to think about it for a second where it's like, okay, what's going to be what feels good to me to say, what feels like I'm being doing the best I can, and like
Right.
that's a good example of how this has become such a good habit where it's a fucking stopwalk lady. We got one good thing in Gaslight City. It's a crosswalk lady. Her name's Four Agreements. Four Agreements sister. She is a nun. She is
She's
the Four
not.
Agreements nun.
She is sacred.
She is sacred and we are protecting her at all costs.
Hmm.
Now, again, the nice thing about creating healthy habits for yourself is that they don't take it's the default. It doesn't take that motivation. We create these so that when we are lacking in motivation, we still do it because that is ingrained in us. A good example again is Nicole was swimming. It wasn't something that just like she had the motivation every day and yeah, she was gonna go and she was so hyped. Some days I remember you being like, I got up and I didn't want to go swimming, but I went and I'm thankful I did. Same thing.
It's like a fucking job, is what
Yeah.
it is. I realize that I now work for the pool for an hour every day. I have weekends off. I get benefits.
Yeah. I get it. Well, because like there's another thing that I read that goes along with you in swimming. Because when I read this, I was like, oh, it's like Nicole in swimming. It's the novelty factor of it. That like there's this initial when you start doing it, it's new, and our brains are like, God, this is so fun, and it's new, and you're interactive, and you're doing this thing, you're so excited. But as the motivation starts to go, so does
Mhm.
like the nuance and the novelty of doing it. And then when you're not like doing something new, you're just doing something consistently, start getting bored, or like your brain starts telling you, oh, you don't need this anymore, you've mastered it, you're good to go.
Right.
When it's
Like
like,
that's it.
I'm not fucking Michael Phelps, man. I haven't mastered this.
All right. Well, and it's like you're doing it to maintain, which I think is the most boring thing on the planet,
God,
right?
yes.
So to maintain, and my goals are to be a really great 90-year-old woman. Do you know what I mean? My goals are to be able to be or mo movable. What's the movable word? Not
Mobile.
motivation. Mobile. There we go. I was like, what's that word?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Um, to be mobile, to be like sturdy, to be um I don't want anybody wiping my ass. Do you know what I mean? Like these are my goals.
Yeah.
So um because I know I'm gonna be there. And I realized that you're either gonna hurt your body is gonna hurt because you haven't moved, or your body's gonna hurt because you have. Choose your pain. That's what I got to tell you. Choose your pain. Because it's going to do one or the other.
Take your pill.
Yeah, because you're sitting and you're rotting and you can feel your body rotting. Your bones hurt, your muscles hurt because you can feel atrophy starting, right? And that's a little dramatic, I got it. But then like if I
Heathens.
get up and like weed, I found muscles that I didn't even know I fucking had. Like, what is this? This
Your,
hurts.
it's your booby muscle.
Yeah, this part right here though. And there were parts in the center of my butt that hurt, like right in the middle of like both cheeks. And I was like, what? What?
We were like, why?
And then the inner part of my thighs. And I was like, this is.
This is so
But I
bullshit.
realized that the moving the muscles, the soreness of the muscles is a better feeling than not moving and rotting.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way better feeling. It's different. Well, at least for me, it is. Like if for you, it might not. It might not be that way. But for me, if I'm gonna pick my pain, I'm
It's
gonna
a
pick the
red or
pain. Yeah,
it's a red
the
or
red or
blue
blue.
pill.
Yeah.
Which one are you choosing, man? You can
Which one you
choose to
want?
stay what you've been doing and like,
Hmm.
or you can choose to do something new and find something new, right?
Right. Well, because the lack of motion in our bodies will, your always either gonna evolve one way or the other, right? Swimming's gonna help me strengthen my bones, strengthen my muscles, keep my arms moving so they're not freezing, um, so on and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not moving is gonna break down and disintegrate, and you're gonna do it slowly as a
Mm-hmm.
human being because obviously we don't do it like that. It's a slow process, right? You start off with like not moving. So then like your hips start hurting because they're moving into a sitting position because we're evolving creatures, right? So then your knee isn't strong enough because you're not using it, and then you can't walk, and then you're immobile, and blah blah blah. Like it's a slow. Either way, it's a slow evolution of what you're picking, the path that you're picking, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the big part of all of this, right, is the discipline. It's a
Ugh.
huge factor of forming a new habit. And changing and forming a new habit, it gets easier with time, but it's the discipline to get it in there. Because like
so
that's
scary.
again
Yeah,
what keeps once the habits formed, it's what gets you through like those low motivation drops. When your motivation's up here, like that's when it's really good and easy to be disciplined, but then when it drops, hopefully you form the habit. If not, you keep the discipline of doing it until like your motivation comes back up and it gets easy again.
absolutely. Absolutely. Because, like, that's even when you're down in the dumps and, or even down on your downswing of, utilize that as a benefit. So realize where you're at. You're like, okay, I'm in the bottom of my swing. So we know there's going to be an upswing. So use that as like to take care of yourself a little bit. This is when you would take a nap, or, maybe just, I'm going to move the basket.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to move it, or I'm
Like,
going to put the clothes in the basket. Just one little, like, this is all I got to today because I know I'm in a down sweep. So the motivation that I'm going to do is just this.
yeah, like with
So I could say I
meditating.
did something right.
Instead of doing 20 minutes, you do 5. Instead of doing an hour, you do 10 minutes. Something just to keep the
Hmm.
discipline so you still have the habit going. You still get this routine going, but you're doing just enough to keep it.
Yeah. You keep that little bit of yourself just moving forward, Um, even like with magic, if I don't feel like doing rituals, I will study.
Yeah, that's a great
If I can't,
example.
if I can't study, I will watch a movie about magic.
Mm, great examples.
So I'm still studying magic. I'm still engaged with it. It's just a different level of it, right?
Yeah, that's a great example. So the nice thing about like once these habits are formed is eventually they'll start to compound. Let me give you an example because Nicole was a good example of this. She wanted to learn how to read better. She wanted to be a better reader, not learn how to read, but like be a good reader, right? Like quicker and like
Hmm.
make it easier. So she's not spending like, it happens to all of us, especially when your brain's like really congested. But have you ever read a sentence and you keep reading and you're like, I don't even know what the fuck I just read because I wasn't here. So you
Yeah.
go and you reread it again, but then the same thing happens. So you read it again and you're like, I have to read every word like this to understand. You have to slow way down. So you were a good example of this where you created this habit of reading. So like if you read every day and you keep reading and you do your research on how to read faster, things like that, eventually what's going to happen is all of that's going to compound into it's like taking a paragraph of all these tips about reading and compounding it down into one line and it's super fast. So you start reading faster, you start reading more, and the way that you talk, your words, your vocabulary gets bigger. Like you can read better, bigger words and totally understand it right off rip. You don't have to go and look it up, things like that. That's what
Mhm.
happens when these habits, you really start putting it in. Swimming's another good example too, right? So is magic. When you start doing lesser banishing ritual, you gotta read what you gotta do. You gotta look back at it like in between like moving to a different direction but then the more you do it, everything starts just compounding and it becomes a habit and a routine to where you can think about it
Yeah.
easily and it flows so much easier.
Well, and magic really helped me with that because I can even see and notice, like when I started, I had bought High Magic on Audible, and um, when it would, because we're vibrating words of Hebrew, I can't get English right. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I'm like, wait, what? You want me to do what? What if I get it right? And you're like, what if I get it wrong? Like,
Yeah.
like all this pressure. And it's like, what I did is I put my headphones on and had him read through the Lesser Banishing Ritual every time. And then once I was comfortable with like doing that and asserting myself through that, then I put it on note cards. So I got to evolve into now I can call up, I don't know, maybe 7 rituals without having any like stuff with me.
Yeah, which is so
Like I just
cool.
have it. Yeah. And that's what magic really helped. I mean, especially going through the elements, because we would start off in earth and you didn't know what to expect. You were super nervous and you're like, how am I going to do all this stuff? It just seems so hard and so much. And, but I really want to. I really want to, like, I'm really motivated. I want this, right? I have no idea what this is, but I want it. And once we went 3 months into earth, like you went from I didn't know the ritual to like I'm pretty proficient with this. And now we got to start again.
Hmm.
And you're like, well, okay, hold on. It's the same thing. So like I know because I just did earth and I learned the ritual and I did the ritual and I got better at the ritual. So I know it's going to start off just like this, but it's going to be air. And I'm going to, even though I feel like I don't know anything right now, and we would rather stayed in the earth because I knew that one. I was familiar with it. Like I built a relationship with it. But now I've got air and I'm like, so then you're like, okay, wait, but I know how this goes. So it's okay. So you start off with new and then you get practice and then a little bit more. And then by the end of it, you're like, aha, I got it. Like
Hmm.
it's so cool to like, I don't actually know that when I start something new, it's going to be scary. It's going to be hard. I'm going to have some follies with it. But then I know the more that I put into it, the better I'm going to be by the end of it. And that's what really, when you kind of know the future like that, it helps a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like meditation. Like for me, meditation hasn't always been easy. It got easier when I did my first past life regression, and now I give that to people too because it's just like this for me. We talk, you'll hear a lot in like the spiritual metaphysical community that you should be meditating on your own and doing all this stuff on your own. But some people have a hard time doing free form meditation without a guide, without somebody walking you through every step. So, something that I learned that I give people too is like getting a safe space. Like, it's the habit of going there. Now that I have this space that I haven't, like, I got from a past life regression, and it was the first free form was just getting there, like opening your eyes, looking around you. This is your safe space. This is a place you can go to then journey on. It's like immediately gets me into a much safer, it's easier to go there because I know what it looks like. It's easier to imagine. It's easier to get into that space of like, okay, something's going to come to me here and take me with them, or I'm going to see a new pathway I haven't seen. I'm going to walk it, things like that. It gets a lot easier for your third eye to see things because you're in the habit of going there first. It's easier to just go then.
Hmm.
And that was something huge that like helped me with meditation is finding a safe space that is my place to go to first to get into the feeling of like just my body being totally relaxed and not being here. Cause like
Hmm.
it's so hard otherwise, because then I'm like, oh, all I'm seeing is black and like I should be seeing something. Why am I not seeing anything? So then I'm like, what about a flower? Do I see a flower? What if I see this? And like your brains just go, 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 go instead of like, okay, this is my place. And it could be anywhere like garden, mountains, valley, beach, city, cafe, things that are
Hmm.
a place for you specifically to feel comfortable, and you immediately know what it looks like, so you're there.
Hmm.
And it's easy to start visualizing it as opposed to just like sitting down for 10 minutes. You're like, oh, I'm going to give myself a 20-minute meditation. And you're like, this is stupid. How long has it been? And you look at your phone and you're like, oh my gosh, it's been 5 minutes. Okay, let me close my eyes. No, wait, I need to focus. Like, why am I not seeing anything? Why am I not getting anything? And your brain's just like boom, 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 boom.
Hmm. And the meditation is very much like that for me. And it's, we were talking about it last night and it, you almost, when you have such a brain like that and you're starting to like acknowledge it and realize it and see it, is just let it and witness the thoughts and realize that you are not your thoughts. It's not a disassociation thing. You are the watcher of the thoughts. You aren't the thought.
Hmm.
So if you kind of let it's almost like running the tap when you haven't run the tap in a long time. And you get sometimes some houses get the little like rusty bits in it or whatever.
Hmm.
It's like you need to run that a minute because you haven't seen it. So almost everybody's like, "Hey, hi, how are you? Look at me." Like
Yeah.
all your thoughts are like these kids that need attention. So just let them because they're gonna run out.
Hmm.
It's going, and then you'll realize like, oh, okay, like you'll start to notice things.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the reason I bring it all up to you is because there's like healthy habits you can form to start getting into like that space, right? It's another form of discipline is like meditation also takes discipline. It takes like you actually giving yourself like the time, actually like giving yourself the space and like allowance. It's the discipline of being like, I'm going to do this until I hear my timer. Like, and sitting
Mhm.
down and doing it or laying down or whatever you would like to do for it, Nicole found that like rocking in a rocking chair while she's got her eyes closed and is getting into that movement helps her a lot. It's finding things and like learning things about yourself, but it takes the discipline to actually get to do it.
Yeah, walking helps me a lot. Walking or a movement of some sort helps. I mean, I don't have to do it so much now, but like, um, those are the things that really do help. But
Yeah.
also in ritual, like that's a lot of times when I'm in ritual, I do a lot of meditation.
Yeah. Um, okay, another key that I saw that I thought was so smart and like it's a dull moment I told Nicole about. I'm like, why didn't we fucking think of this? Another key to teaching yourself a new habit is to stack it on top of an existing one. So, like a good example is if you want to be doing daily affirmations, like in the morning or whenever. So you put a sticky note on your bathroom mirror to remind you to repeat them when like you're washing your face or you brush your teeth every day. And like when you do that, you see the sticky note. So you do your affirmations right then. And eventually you won't need the sticky note to remind you because it'll become routine. So you're doing your brushing your teeth, you're doing affirmations.
That's a really good one. And I know it's silly. And if you live with other people, somebody's going to make fun of you, and that's fine. We kind of got to I know it's one of my like things is I'm always like, oh, sometimes I get in my way and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do rituals because I'm weirdly enough afraid to do it in front of people.
Self-conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I doing? Do you know what I mean? Like I've now gotten to the point like I see it because I'm used to being that way. Even like I took a week off of swimming because I got a tattoo and you get this little bit of anxiousness, but like that Monday when I'm going to start again, that like somehow uh I'm not going to be let back in because I quit for a week. I get nervous like maybe everybody will be mad at me because I skipped a week. Do you know what I mean? Like these little like
Like, what if I forgot how
weird,
to swim?
right? Like you're like, what if they're all gonna laugh at me? Like and of course you walk in just like normal and everything's fine. It's not, you know what I mean? But you put these barriers or these monsters up
Hmm.
to scare you for not like, no, you can't be successful. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Sit back down. Go back to bed. And you're like, no, I gotta put my suit on.
I got shit to do. I need to swim.
I got shit to do. And it does help, like even on my days off, it helps because like when I come home, I'm already up, right? And it helps to like motivate that a little bit so that way we're already going. And I'm
Hmm.
going to tell you, like, for me, the best thing to do is keep your shoes on as soon as you get home. Put your music on. Don't fucking sit down. Don't do it because that's bad.
That's so
You
bad.
will lose everything.
Your couch has a siren's call and you do not listen to it.
Don't do it.
Because if you do it, you're done for.
And you're done.
You're
You're
done.
done.
You're done.
Put your music on and just do what you're motivated to do. Because a lot of times I am a um ADH cleaner for sure. Like
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna like pick this place up, but then it's gonna take me over here and I'm gonna pick this up a little bit. But I gotta take that thing over here. So then I'm gonna come over here and pick this up. And I notice as long as I keep doing that, eventually it all gets clean.
Hmm. Yeah,
And I don't stop myself with that anymore.
I stick myself to one room. I see something, I'm like, oh, I should just grab. I'm like, nope. You're gonna tell yourself that you're just gonna take that and make less trips. No, ma'am. We're working on the kitchen. We're working on the kitchen. That's what I tell
Uh-huh.
myself in my head. I'll be like, kitchen, kitchen, kitchen. That's not a part of the kitchen. That ain't coming to the kitchen. Kitchen. Because then
Uh-huh.
I get it. For me, it works faster. Because like I also do the same thing where I'm like, I'll be like picking something up. Like I'll go to make sure there's no dishes in the bedroom, like no glasses with water in them. And then I'm like, oh, I should just take this with me, or like I should just do that. So then I'm taking this back to the bathroom. Well, then I'm taking this from the bathroom back to the bedroom, and now I completely dismissed that I'm gonna do the dishes. So like I try to discipline myself into a room, because then when that one
Mhm.
room's done, because I always start with the kitchen. I don't know why I'm like this, but I always start with the kitchen. Once the kitchen's done, I feel so good that now I want to do the rest.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're like, yes, I did it.
Yes. It's
Hmm.
so clean. It smells
And I
so
think
good.
that's definitely a good formula for like, especially if you've got a bigger house too. Like,
Oh yeah.
because that could get overwhelming. Like, obviously, if I had stairs or something, I couldn't do that kind of thing. It would have to be like by floor or something.
My God, yeah.
But I noticed that if um, well, at least at that point in time, that's exactly like one day we did just work on the living room and that was it because it needed that much attention.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but sometimes I like to flutter or flitter or whatever you want to. I feel like a hummingbird going to each flower and like
Yes.
and
I,
just dancing around my house. Like it's fine.
yeah, and
So
if that's what works, man, like Nicole said, you gotta get it done.
eventually get it done. It
Yeah.
might take a little longer, but I mean, technically it's going to take the same amount of time because you know what I mean? Like you're still
Yeah.
getting everything done. So no matter
Yeah.
how you do it, it's going to take the same amount of time. If you take it one room by one room, then of course, like it's going to look different than like if I'm doing my pollination of on my house.
Your pollination.
Uh,
I
very
love
bee,
that.
very bee oriented today.
I love bees. Um, Another tip that I found is we kind of talked about this, but I feel like just to make it clear, you got to make your new habit that you want to do realistic, okay? Because like when a habit's more reasonable for you, the more likely you are to engage in it regularly. So, say you want to
Mhm.
spend more time in nature, but like you don't have an hour to go and do it, right? And like that just doesn't fit in your busy schedule. Go out for 10 minutes. And like we talked about stacking your habits, make your coffee. Then while your coffee's making, go throw your shoes on, come back, get your coffee, go walk around outside for 10 or 15 minutes. If you don't have an hour, don't give yourself this unrealistic, I'm already gonna fail, so why would I even try to? It's self-sabotage. Don't self-sabotage. Make it realistic. Go out for 10, 15 minutes.
Well, and make sure that's what you really want to do.
True.
Don't tell yourself you want to go outside if you don't want to fucking go outside,
Also, so yes. Yep.
right? Because you're just setting yourself up for failure.
Uh-huh.
Like, why do you want to go outside? What benefits are you going to get? Like, what, those are the kind of things that will help you decide on what you want to do.
Yes.
Because, sometimes we just don't want to.
Yeah, that's so fair. The next one I have is make the new habit as convenient as possible. Okay. You want to drink more water throughout the day because you want to help your body. Fill your damn water bottle up the moment you think about it. If it's the night before, then throw it next to your purse or in your work bag or whatever. Just make it as convenient for yourself as possible. When you have the motivation, do it then. Get it ready.
Buy a fun cup. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll slightly judge you if you buy a Stanley cup, but whatever. Buy a fun cup.
Yep. I
I have
mean,
a Yeti, so I can't say anything.
yeah, and I have a Simply Modern, and it's true. If I fill it up, I could throw some ice in there, and I have it ready to go. I go to grab it because I'm like, oh, I should drink some water, and it's empty. The likelihood that I
Oh
don't fill it
no.
up because I'm so disappointed that it's empty is so real. It's, I know it's ridiculous, but I'm like throwing a little fit inside. I'm like, well, now I gotta go and fill it. But then if it's filled up, I go, and then if I'm like drinking it already and it empties, then I fill it up right then to keep myself going with like drinking more water. But
Right, right.
you're so right in the fact that until I got that cup, because it's a straw, it's big, it's like I love it. The color's pretty, and it's like so satisfying to like hear the ice
Mm-hmm.
clinking in it. Keeps my water
Mm-hmm.
cold forever. I've been drinking way more
Mm-hmm.
water now because of that cup.
Absolutely. Like, buy a cup that you really, really like to use.
Yeah,
Um, I forgot. It left.
she said bye. Um, okay, the next one I have too is try to do the habit at or around the same time every day. That's huge. And put
Mm-hmm.
you into a routine. Like, I remember like Nicole swims every morning, gets up, goes almost the same time every day. Um, Magic, almost the same time every day. If you're gonna meditate,
Mm-hmm.
do it the same time or try to do it the same time every day. That's gonna really get you into the routine of doing it. So that like we talked about, you can keep doing it, build upon it, and then start compounding it to start even getting more benefits and bigger things added in so that you can
Mm-hmm.
just keep building on top of it.
And use technology to help you with this, like set an alarm,
Yep.
remind yourself why you're doing it, because the why is very important. So if I wanted to set a routine for meditation, why do I need to meditate?
Hmm.
What benefits am I looking for to get out of it? Not what somebody else tells you, but what are you wanting to benefit for it? Like with swimming, the why is I want a more um mobile body. I want to be able to use my vehicle in the way that I want to use
Hmm.
it. And these are my why I'm doing. And that's what gets me out of bed. That's what, I throw on my suit because I know if I just do this, I'll feel better at the end. I do love water that much, and that helps a lot. It helps a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, like right now, one of my big ones of getting out of bed in the morning is the garden. The mornings are
Hmm.
when I take care of the garden. I go out, I weed if I need to, I make sure let's see how my plants are doing, and it's so satisfying because like I think I'm finding that I really like the earth, like just being na barefoot. I almost said naked because but I don't get to be naked in nature because I'm in an apartment complex, but like I would if I could. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't know where that came from, but here
That's
we are. But I do like being barefoot and I like the feeling of dirt on my hands and I like watching my plants grow and like especially ever since learning that your plants can see you. Oh, I love it. I've named some of
hmm
my plants. We're becoming friends and I'm so excited to reap the harvest in like the fall and like it's like something that really gets me out of bed in the morning because I'm like we have to have time to take care of our plants. We have no reason not to. Like, I don't want them to die because I'm probably going to be devastated. Like,
hmm
we gotta get out of bed because we have a certain amount of time to get ready in the morning. And then I don't have to rush. I can take my time and enjoy it.
Right, right, right. That's the thing is I think we've all been programmed to like not like mornings. Like it's not cool that you're a morning person.
Hmm.
And I'm not necessarily a morning person, but what I like about my mornings is that everything is quiet.
Yeah.
Nobody's up.
Hmm.
I get to do whatever I want.
Yes.
Nobody's gonna like take my time from no over here. No, I need you over here. Like
Yep.
it's such a beautiful time to start. And then you can start because if you and I've been there, I've done it where I've like got up, had 20 minutes to get to work and got to work, right? Like I've done
Same.
that.
Me
I
too.
have I have lived that life. And now I I love the fact that it takes me 4 hours to get ready for work.
Okay, that's so funny because same. I have, I give myself four, 3.5 at the least, because sometimes mornings I'm like, okay, we're gonna give ourselves another 20 minutes. It's fine. But I give myself about 4 hours in the morning too, because I'm like, having a slow morning
A
feels
beautiful
so,
slow morning.
oh, so,
Yes.
oh, the birds are chirping, my incense
Oh,
is going, I'm drinking coffee, I can take my time doing whatever the hell I want to do.
hmm
Oh, I love mornings now.
Like I don't want to talk anymore.
No.
I don't want to have a conversation with you.
Mm-mm.
I don't, we can exist, we can coexist together,
Yeah. Hmm.
but I'm not going to, this is not going to work.
This needs that almost 4 hours before I can be
Yeah.
a good, cheerful, let's fucking get her done type of person.
hmm
She
hmm
she needs time. She's booting up.
she is warming up.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Another tip that I found that I really enjoyed was cheer yourself on. You don't think about this enough. There's a study that they actually did in 2017 that found that people who feel good about their progress in developing new habits are most likely to stick to them. But I think that what is missing in that statement is that you have to be mindful of like cheering yourself on, of being like, damn, good job, buddy. You fucking did that shit. Like, look at you go. Like, look at your progress. Look at how much better you're getting at this. And like being your own
hmm
cheerleader is like so important.
Yeah, because I think we, especially as kids, you know, we had our parents to do it, right? They were like, good job, you can walk. Good job, you can do whatever this is. And I find that uh, we still crave it,
Fuck yeah.
for other people to tell us a good job. And I think, which is not a bad thing, um, but it would help if you did it too, because you're the one that has to live with you.
Hmm.
And, at some point, you really kind of have to stop looking for other people to validate that you did a good job.
Yeah.
You should just know that you did a good job, right? Like, I did this, I did a good job, blah, blah, blah.
Plus, it feels better when you're not looking for it and it comes randomly. When it
Mm-hmm,
randomly comes of
mm-hmm.
like, look at you go, dude. I'm like so proud of you. Like, look at you doing that damn thing. Like, you are doing the damn thing. That feels so much better than, hey, I did this. Can I get a gold star now?
Right, right. Like, look what I did.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that I have too is use the buddy system. Teaming up with somebody who wants to do the same thing as you so that you guys can kind of hold each other accountable. You can check in with each other and track each other's progress and encourage each other and like motivate each other. That can help too, especially when you're like, I feel like a big one that's a good example of this is the gym. A lot of people want to go to the gym. I want to get motivated to go. I want to like be doing this and blah, blah, blah. It is so much easier when you are like held accountable for like showing up with somebody and like or talking to them, even if you're both doing it at your own times and like you're kind of watching each other's progress. It's like it's more motivating to have that.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a buddy, do a trainer. They're really
Yeah.
good at like motivating you and like um at least there's somebody there to hold you accountable. And you don't necessarily need them forever.
No.
You could use them for a week and then see how you do on your own. And then, like, maybe get them again, something like that. Like, work with the trainer and see if there's a way that you can um, tell them what your goals are. Tell them that I want you just to be accountable. Like, I don't necessarily
Mhm.
need you to tell me what to do per se. I just need you to hold me accountable.
Yeah, because like you're so right. When I had a trainer, I had her for like 3 or 4 months. We'd just go once a week. But that once a week, I was so there always because it's her time too. And it
hmm
held me so accountable because I was like, I am not going to like no show her. Like I'm paying for her time. And I'm
Right,
not going to
right,
do that to her. So it held me at an even more accountability to where it was like, I have to be there. Can't do nothing else. Sorry, I got training. I got to go meet my trainer. Like,
right. And pick a trainer that you're intimidated by.
absolutely. Absolutely. Pick a trainer that's not going to put up with your shit. Because
Right, because yeah, like that's motivating.
yeah, because if you're like, I can't lift this, I'm so sore. And they're like, yeah, you can, you're fine, dude. And it's like, no, you're doing it. Because then
That's
it's like,
why
oh, it's okay. Like, we'll just go to something else. You're like, oh shit. You subconsciously are like, I can get away with things. It's like being a kid. What can I get away with?
that's exactly what I always look for. What can I get away with here?
What do I not have to do because I don't want to do it? But
How
I
do I
do.
manipulate my way out of this?
Yes.
What is the formula that I need? That's why I needed Damien because he has the right like I can't bullshit somebody that's been on hard times for 18 years. You
Yeah,
know,
seriously.
like I just can't there's nothing that I can pull out of here like, haha, this is my excuse. And they'd be like, that's a good one. Because he would be like, I was in
Yeah.
prison. And you were like, oh,
Uh-huh.
I can't drop that.
Can't bullshit a bullshitter, man.
Mm-mm. I
That
can't.
statement is so true.
I can't trump that. So
Mm-mm.
find somebody you can be intimidated by.
Yeah, agreed. Also, another thing that I was going to say too that came into mind when you said trainer is apps. There are a lot of apps out there for a lot of different freaking things, and a lot of them are free, okay? And like the thing is that happens with the apps, right? Is the reason why apps don't work is because we're not putting the discipline behind it, which means without the discipline, you know what that also means? Nicole said it multiple times. You should know this answer. You don't have the motivation to do it because you don't know why you're doing it.
You know
Have to
why
have
you're
the
doing
why to have the discipline to then do something. So apps, that's what's happening is you don't know why you're doing it. You don't have the discipline backing your why too. Like you're gonna look at that app and swipe it off and not see it again. You're gonna keep getting the notification and keep ignoring it because you don't have the discipline and the why to back you doing it when the app tells you to
it.
do it.
You gotta have the why. The why is the most important.
I agree. Um, so the last bit that I have is talking about breaking habits to replace them, and like it's going to be better to have a positive replacement action when you're trying to stop doing something that you're doing, right? So like you can redirect your urge from your old habit that comes up. Like a good one is doom scrolling at night. You have to have something positive to replace that. So like if you want to stop doom scrolling at night, try reading a book or like listening to music, doing something that you enjoy that can help to bring you down instead of continually doing it
Yeah.
and just being like, oh, I'm just gonna stop.
And it doom scrolling has gotten to the point where I feel like I can feel me wasting my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I literally like I'm not getting any benefit from this. I'm literally like it just feels so irritating to do it at this point.
Same.
So I'm like, oh, I have to I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it's like sorry, wrap your phone away because you're like, ugh, get
ugh,
away from me, peasant.
ugh. I do not find joy out of you anymore.
Literally.
So and then, pick drawing, pick something else.
Mhm.
Um, and this is where I think it'd be really cool to go out and like find out what you loved again. What did you love as a kid? Like, what did you spend most of your time doing as a kid? What did, uh, at that time, and I think that'll help you get back to doing something that is more productive just for you instead of just sitting there and, wasting this time.
Mhm. And that goes right into my next one of being mindful. You have to watch how you feel when you're engaging in these unhelpful habits, and building that awareness can help you focus on on like why you want to make the change, right? Like Nicole being like, dude, I'm wasting my life away. I'm not getting anything from this. That's mindfulness behind doom scrolling. But you have
Mhm.
to start creating that like awareness of how you feel and why you want to make that change. I don't want to doom scroll and I don't want to be on TikTok just wasting away 3 hours because I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm just sitting there basically mindless, doing nothing.
Watching, consuming what other people have been doing.
Yeah. 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 Yep.
Like some of them are nice because like, I'll watch comedy to, bring my mood up a little bit. I'll watch something cute if I need to feel a little certain some way. You know, a lot of times I'll listen to Alan Watts if I need motivation, if I'm feeling a little depressy, messy, and I
Hmm.
don't have the motivation, is I start watching Alan Watts or somebody like that that I like to listen to. Plus, like the words that they say are very beautiful, very motivating. They make you realize something um, that can help you get out of that, like that transition.
Yeah, absolutely. Alan Watts is so good.
I know.
Mm. Um, the last one that I have that's also huge is identifying your triggers. So, like some good examples of this is if when you get home from work and you know you want to take a bath or you have something to do, but you know that if you go and sit on that couch, that means you're gonna sit there until you go to a bed. The couch is the trigger. Stay away from the
Mm-hmm.
couch.
Mm-hmm.
If you get the urge to vape right after dinner and you know you want to quit vaping or vaping as much, but you have the urge to go and vape right after dinner, try going for a walk instead. You bite your nails while you're reading a book, you want to quit biting your nails. Try a fidget toy to keep your hands busy or like petting your pet while you're reading. Identify the trigger
Mm-hmm.
and then change the trigger.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Yeah, wasn't that one good? I was like, shit, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one, man. Because, like, the couch is a huge one for me, dude. It's a huge one for me. Huge. Avoid the couch like it is the plague when I have stuff to get done. I
Mm-hmm.
refuse. I will not sit down. I'm like,
You're like, no, ma'am.
even if I'm like, oh my God, all I want to do is sit down, that's going to be so nice. I'm like, no, 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 no. We are not even touching the couch.
No,
That
I
can
got
be the
shit to
last thing
do.
you clean.
Shit to do.
Shit to do, man.
Well, and the great thing about that is, or even like you could make that a reward too. It's like, all right, I'll sit on it, but I have to wait. I have to wait until these are done
Uh-huh.
so I can sit in peace. Because the
Yes.
thing is that if you're thinking about all the stuff that you should be doing, you're not necessarily sitting there and enjoying that sitting on the couch, and you should be enjoying it. We've earned it. So if you take care of the few things and wait a minute before you sit on the couch, because the funny thing is, I always usually do things backwards, right? Like I'm always like, oh, I'll wait till the last minute to like put my makeup on and then jump on, our podcast. And then, but the thing is that it it's not really necessarily beneficial for me, right? Like you always sit a little too long. You push that envelope just a little too much, right?
Yep.
So if we use that as like, all right, if I get this stuff done and then I'll have time to sit, because you'll always have time to sit.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if you're sitting for a half an hour or 4 hours, like you're still sitting, so it's
Sitting's
fine. It's
sitting,
not
dude.
like right, it's not like you're like, oh no, I gotta do this. I got time limit. I gotta do this for this long. Like, no, that's not how that works.
Mm-hmm.
So come in, do what you gotta do, keep your shoes off, don't sit down on the couch,
Yep.
but realize that that's the goal or the trophy,
Mm-hmm.
the reward at the end.
Dude, I do this on Thursdays when I have nothing else to do. Like, luckily today I have other stuff to do, so I have no excuse because after I get off this, I got shit to do. I have appointments to make. I got shit to do. But sometimes when I don't, what I'll do, because again, we love to hate ourselves, is I will sit out and play a game, sit on my phone, read a book, do something that's like I'm not supposed to be doing that. I should be cleaning because then I have more time. What I'll do is I'll be like, okay, if I chill until like, let's say 3 o'clock. That gives me 2.5 hours before Jordan gets home and I can have the house clean. Because I give myself like, oh, Jordan's gonna be home. Oh, I should have the house clean. So then he gets to come home to a nice clean house and we can hang out and chill. And that's like what I do to myself is I give myself this like time limit, right? But then I push the envelope because I love to hate myself. So then what I'm doing is I am stress cleaning. Jordan can give a lesser flying fuck if the house is perfectly clean when he gets home. He does not care. He's like, yeah, whatever. It is what it is. But I put this pressure on myself and then I wait till the last minute and then again, I'm scurrying. I'm scurrying. I'm like, oh my God, gotta clean this. Oh my God, I gotta clean this. And then I'm like, can't breathe, can't breathe. Gotta get this
Hmm.
done. I do this to myself and then I tell myself, I'm like, dude, it's all because you went and sat on the couch after the podcast.
Right.
My trigger.
Yeah, right there.
Hmm. So when we talk about action, we need to talk about habits, right? We need to start creating new habits. We need to learn how to be disciplined. We need to understand the why. And this is going to help you guys with everything that we've been talking about for this like year and a half, basically, of like, you know, changing things about ourselves so that we feel better.
Mhm. This is what it's about. It's about to get out of the dark and gloomy and into the sunshine like everybody, well, not even like everybody else. We want to do this because we want to feel good for ourselves. That's why we're doing it.
Yes.
I don't, I don't want to like walk the same path as everybody else. I don't want to um necessarily like, but I still want to be productive. I want to feel good about myself. And at the end of the day, when, our lives are over, we are proud of it. We are proud of what we did. And this is the thing is like what we're doing is we're taking away what we were told when we were younger, what was the ultimate goal of living life, and bringing it back down to what I wanted to be as living life. So, like, people may look at my life and judge it and think that I didn't accomplish anything because of X, Y, and Z, right? Like, I'm not a multimillionaire. I don't have a Fortune 500 company. Like, these things that we think that we were supposed to, I didn't have 12 kids. Do you know what I mean? Like, they just don't have,
Yeah.
my house isn't, 600 square feet or 6,000 square feet. Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say it's like something.
Let me put an extra there on it. Or whatever the thing that we were taught that was the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
And we are taking that horse and we are going to make it our own. Like
Hmm.
like what is it that gives me a satisfying life? What is it that makes my life worth it without anybody else's input in it?
That's a hard thing to do, but by going through the steps of healing and like all the things that we have talked about, especially in season one, you start getting to a more like authentic version of you.
And that's the whole goal. Is to be
Hmm.
authentic, being confident of who we are, and letting that, as corny as it sounds, that light shine because we each have our own unique medicine that we need to bring to the world. And whatever that looks like is not like what somebody else's look like. And we forget that. We forget that kind of like um uniqueness that we all bring to this. And we don't develop it and we don't make it stronger because we're, sidetracked or, told that we're not like, I'm supposed to do this, but it doesn't make me feel good, but that's what I'm supposed to do. So here I am for the next 50 years, I'm going to do this. And that's like
Yeah.
beating your head up against the wall for what? To make somebody else happy?
Right.
So, figure out really what it is that you want that makes you happy. Like, and it's okay to like fail. It's okay to like try something and go, that is not for me. Be glad that you had the experience to like narrow down the fact that that's not what, that's where, even like when you talk to people and they cross a boundary, like even being brave enough to be like, okay, that's where my boundary is, and now I know why. Like those
Yeah.
little things that you can really start to take inventory and put them in your toolbox is really where it's going to help us move through this.
Yes.
I
Preach it.
let's see, reach.
Preach it.
So there's some things that I had for motivation and action. So one of them is that uh validate your shame as being normal part of the human experience. And a lot of times that's what we would use action for is shame and guilt. And if you have time, go look up Brene Brown's TED Talk on shame and guilt. It is very good. It will help you understand what shame is and what guilt is, and then how to like um, maneuver all that.
Mm.
Focus on micro actions too. If you're in those depressy, messy, those slow, sluggy kind of days, um, do micro actions, do little actions. Um, and I'm sure, like I said, go back to like pick up a sock.
Mhm.
Um, if you're not going to sweep the floor and you see like a hairball that's a cat that's forming its own cat, just pick that up.
Plus, I feel like sometimes those micro actions can lead to the motivation to the bigger actions too.
And they can, and it's not, and if it doesn't, that's fine too. But at least
Absolutely.
you can start feeling good about that one little thing. Like pick up a dirty glass. That's it. Just
Hmm.
pick up that dirty glass and tell yourself that that's all you're going to do. That's all you're required to do. I'm just going to take this glass and I'm going to put it in the dishwasher. That's it.
Hmm.
That's all I'm going to do. Um, and that could build you up to like, now I want to do something a little bit bigger and I want to uh maybe sweep the floor. That's it. That's all I'm going to do is sweep the floor. I'm not going to vacuum. Just pick one thing.
Hmm.
Whatever your energy level is at that particular time, just a little bit. It could be just opening the curtains. I don't know. Um, don't shame yourself for the pace that your nervous system needs to go. So if you're, and you can look a lot into this, I only kind of brushed on this a little bit and I don't quite understand it, so I'm not gonna, um, but this is goes along with like us overdoing and not regulating, and then we have to sleep all day because we're trying to rest and reset our nervous system. So don't shame yourself and think that you should be doing something better, um, or be performing better because your nervous system is shut. It needs that time to kind of like this is like if you blow out a energy point, you're gonna need some time to build that back up. Like even in magic, this is something that we do a lot, is that you will go above what your meridians can handle because you're moving energy, you're doing all this stuff. And we don't you don't know. So you don't know what you don't know, really.
Hmm.
So if you do blow out your nervous system, it's going to take 2, 3 days to reset it and go down that rabbit hole so you have a better discernment about how that works, and because that'll help you realize why you spend all day in bed one day even though you were go 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 and you did all the things. Now you're done.
You're done.
You're done. Inspired action. We want to uh again, this will go back to looking, put some toolboxes, put some tools in your toolboxes about what really inspires you to move, to take action, to do the things. Like I always think about like when I'm swimming or when I'm doing something mundane that I have to do over and over and over again. This is my like Buddhist carrying the bucket.
Hmm.
You know, there's a whole saying or a whole thing about all these like Buddhists like that carry buckets of water back and forth hundreds of times, you know, because it creates enlightenment. It creates like this movement forward so you can think this, you can meditate with this as well. Um, but even in the pool, like going back and forth is so mundane and normal that you end up going somewhere else while you're doing it because such a easy task to do that it lets your mind kind of like reset and re creates an atmosphere so that you can like creative or open up to like drop in something that needs to be dropped in, a
Hmm.
download, if you will. There was a cool little technique, and you're never going to feel ready for stuff. You're never going to actually like feel ready that you're ready to jump off that like cliff or um I don't know what that was. Do
I
you hear
didn't
that?
hear it. Mm-mm.
Oh, it was like a click.
Hmm.
Uh, you're never going to feel ready for that kind of stuff, especially if it's something scary and that you're just starting out.
Yeah.
Um, there's an interesting way to kind of change where you're at. And she was saying that it was like a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this will change, learn. This will be, it opens up this frontal part of your brain where you can learn new behaviors and you can take action.
Hmm.
So if you're in these places, try just counting backwards from 5
Hmm.
and see where that takes you. See how that makes you feel. Because you're kind of like winding down from what you are doing, whether it's sitting, whether it's feeling, whether it's just being in your rot stage. And you're like, oh, I've had enough. And you like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just starting to count changes everything just a little bit. And this is all you have to do in your head. Um, and you might want to like put a sticky note somewhere where you typically rot. And that'll help you kind of like look at that and be like, oh, 5, 4, 3, 2. And it'll inspire change. It'll bring it open, it'll open you up to it. Instead of
Hmm.
it being so resistant, it'll open. It's almost like a gateway starts to open.
The way that I'm going to buy sticky notes today, it's on my list of errands because I need sticky notes because I
Hmm.
think it's so smart. Especially like what I was thinking too is I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to keep them moving so that I randomly see them because otherwise I'm gonna start ignoring it if I don't keep the discipline of keeping it moved so I see it, you know?
Yeah, and that'll be great because like with sticky notes, because they don't stick forever
Yeah.
usually. So then when it's time to redo it or to renew the energy in it, is that it'll fall off and then you'll be like, all right, I have to redo this.
Hmm.
I have to rewrite whatever it is. Or maybe it evolved into something else. Like that task was done and now you've evolved into something newer, a new
Yeah,
motivation. Mhm.
absolutely.
Another way is to build our identity up. So a lot of the stuff that we do, we should put into our identity. So I am a meditator, and then that helps me motivate me into showing up to prove that I am a meditator. So if I'm a ritual magician and I say that I'm a ritual magician, then I will more act like I have to do my rituals because I can't just be somebody that like this is being impeccable with my word, right? If I said this, I got to show up and do it then.
It's funny you're bringing this up because I started doing this with one that I'm combating right now is I am a people person. I'm
Hmm.
sick and tired of saying it. I'm sick and tired of hearing it. My job is with people. I enjoy my job with people. I enjoy being around people. I am a people person.
Hmm.
And I'm claiming it because I'm sick and tired of it being something that we say to like try to like, I don't know, make it seem so like
Bad
cool
or
almost.
wrong.
Yeah.
Right,
And it's
right,
like been used as this like cool thing where we hate people, but like we also work with people, so but we like hate them. Okay, that's not cool. That makes no sense. Like when I think about it, I tell myself in my head, I'm like, you make no fucking sense when you say that. You are a people
right,
person, and that's not a bad thing.
right, right. We weaponized it or made it cool to like, I don't like people. There are people out there.
Yeah.
It's like, hello, you are people, you dick. Like
Also, like when you're a hairdresser, dog, your whole career is based around people.
everything we do is based around people.
Well, that's fair too. Yeah, exactly.
We are a social group.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
we just would get out of each other's our way, it's like, come on. Like,
Yes.
it's hard enough to live on this planet. Why do we got to hate other people to do it?
Right. Exactly. That's a big one I've been trying to implement. So you're so right. Claiming things that you are
Hmm.
and like not being like shy about it or shaming yourself for it, right? I am a people person. I am a good hairdresser. I am a
Hmm.
whatever. I'm a good conversationalist.
Hmm.
Things like that.
And then you will show up for that. Your body will start to be like, oh, I have to get up at 5 o'clock and do rituals because I want to, because I'm a magician and I need to get this done.
Yes.
Right. Or I
Mhm.
will show up because I'm responsible house owner. I will I will take care, be accountable for how my yard looks. I'll be accountable for how my space looks. I'll be accountable for cleaning the dishes and the coffee pot and all the other things that get gross and nasty that because we're dirty human beings.
Right.
Uh, Heathen. Hi.
Heathens.
If I could camp for the rest of my life, I would.
Oh, the way that I want to live in a fifth wheel, tiny home living out in the woods. Yeah,
Sign me up for it. I'm done. I want to.
I've been trying to talk Jordan into it for a hot minute, but
No
yeah,
go.
it's just because of the cats. He's like, yeah, but then like the cats will be everywhere. And I'm like, we lived in a studio. It was fine. The cats were fine. They loved it.
Hmm.
I was like, it'll be fine. I'm trying. Because I would live in a camper in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat. Absolutely. I'm down. Let's go.
We'd be cooking outside all the time. I'll be living outside basically.
Well, that's kind of how it would be nice to have is like you would be outside way more because your space is so little and limited, right?
Mhm.
And it's the bare minimum of what I really need.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I think that's part of my cleaning issue sometimes. I've been actually being really good about trying to recondo my house because
Yeah.
like there's so much stuff that I don't use that people could use. So I've been donating a lot too because I'm just like all these clothes that don't fit me. Or one day I'm like, oh, it's gonna be I should just keep these. I paid a lot for these jeans. They're good jeans, and like one day they'll probably fit me again. One, that's fitting me into a feeling of body dysmorphia, and two, I'm keeping something that's just collecting energy and taking up space for no reason when somebody could be using those good pair of jeans.
Hmm. And besides, when you fit into those jeans, you're not going to want those jeans.
And I think about it too, and I combat my body dysmorphia. It's like, well, if you get to that size, you're still gonna have body dysmorphia because when you were that size, you didn't like your body. So why are we putting this on ourselves? This is annoying. Why are we doing this?
Annoying.
You are annoying yourself. Stop annoying yourself.
Mhm. That's so true, Jesus. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why so much?
Mm. Self-awareness
Um,
is great.
there's a little trick that some people use uh to motivate themselves. And um this could be used in some situations. Is start to think that somebody's going to take it away from you. So
Wait,
work
say
like
that again?
somebody uh start to think like somebody is going to take it away from you.
Oh, okay.
So like if um what did they say? It was something about um you want to work like somebody's going to take your clients away. You want to be so good at your job that even if they wandered off to somebody else's chair, they would come back.
Hmm.
And I don't mean this in being like, I'm better than you and I'm going to get all the clients and all. It's not like that. It's just a little motivation. That's all. It's not that serious. It's just you want to move like somebody is going to take them away from you.
My garden. It was a great example. We're in a apartment complex. It was here before I moved in, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm making a garden. I want my garden to look so good that if somebody was like, you can't have that, and then they looked at it and they're like, oh my God, we can't take that away from them. Like, look at how beautiful that is.
Right.
Look at
Right.
how great their plants look. Like that's gotta stay because look at how beautiful that looks.
Absolutely. Above all else, this is like what it is doing. And this is a great way because, some people need different motivation types. And sometimes that little bit of that competitiveness makes me swim faster. I'm not even
Heck
racing
yeah.
with these fuckers, but I'm racing with these fuckers. They
Yeah,
don't know
literally. I'm the same way. I have to challenge myself. I have to
it.
be like, I'm gonna get
Hmm.
it done within this episode, and if not this episode, then the next one, and it will be done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good way. I also work very well if I'm mad. Sometimes I gotta get myself mad to be like, fuck this shit. I have to go swimming goddamn again because
Hmm.
now it's my job.
Hmm.
But just that little bit of that anger, obviously don't project it on anybody else and don't, go overboard. But like use that motivation of like, I gotta get up at this time again, put my suit on, be cold, go to the wet place. Like I just don't wanna, but here I am
Because those
showing up
fuckers think they're gonna beat me in a race.
because they think they're gonna beat me in a race, fuckers.
They're like, "Who are you?" You're like, "I
I'm
beat you."
here. Done.
Done.
Better. Better than all of you.
Yeah, it's like healthy motivation for yourself. Again,
It
don't
is.
project it
It
on
is.
others, but like the nice
Yeah.
thing is like you can really use that to that's a good point. It's great motivation.
Sometimes I start magic off like that because I'm like, I don't want to do it. And then I'm like, stupid.
Love it.
Well, and it's a burst of energy. It's like that fire burst in yourself to get you just up and doing something, right? It's just a little bit of a flame to like get you like, because once it burns out, you're back to like, oh, that was funny.
Yep.
And then I'm going to repeat this one more time. This is what's always going to help you is know exactly what you want and exactly why you're doing
Hmm.
it and why you want it. Exactly what you want and exactly why you are doing it. Those are the two things. So why are you going to the gym? Why do you need a clean plate? What is the motivation behind it? Like putting away laundry. I know that it's really hard at 5 o'clock in the morning to figure out through all of my black clothes where my underwear is and what dress I'm going to put on. And it makes me frustrated. And I don't like that. So I put away my clothes so I don't have to feel them.
Yeah.
That is my motivation.
Yeah. It's a good one. Yeah, mine is um I'm sick and tired of having wrinkly t-shirts.
I'm sick and tired. Yes.
Shit pisses me off, and then I don't want to wear anything that's clean because it's wrinkly.
Right. So put it away.
So I gotta fucking put it away so that doesn't happen.
Well, because eventually they're going to be have to wash again. They're going to do the whole process. Sometimes I do wash it over again just to get myself remotivated on it.
Yep, been there.
Just because I'm like, you know what? I'm done with you. I just want a clean space. I'm gonna put it all in the washer and rewash it because that's just the way I'm going today.
Mm-hmm.
At least it gets off the floor. It's like a reset button. If I just reset it again, this is what we're gonna do.
What I do too for a good reset is I'll make my bed and throw it on the bed.
Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah,
Because
nice
it
clean like that.
pisses me off if I try to throw it back on the floor. I make myself mad at myself in
Mad,
a
so
healthy
mad.
way,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Because
so
I'm like,
mad.
you fucker, you're not throwing those back on the floor. You're putting
What
them
are you
away.
doing?
Yeah, well, you're not doing that again.
No, no,
Don't
don't
do
do
it
it.
to yourself. Why are you doing this to yourself?
You don't like this. Why are you
Why?
doing this?
You threw
Yeah.
them up there for a reason, so you fucking take care of
hmm
them. Do not,
hmm
don't. I always tell myself, don't you dare. Don't you fucking dare.
Fair. Right. That's truth right there, buddy. Truth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope this helps. We hope it helps, because we know action is the hardest one. And
Yeah.
um and I feel you. I get it. Like I know. So this is the best way that we can help you get off your asses and accomplish the world.
Yes. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Um, Next week we are talking about Grimm's familiars and things of that nature, which is super exciting.
Grim.
Um, so yeah, we will see you in the next episode, buddies.
Bye.